so glad to have you join us today as we're going to talk about our heart health, whether that be physically or spiritually. And as you will see on this panel sitting right beside me, this gentleman is not Pastor Laura.
He's better.
She says he's better. Pastor Laura, as she said earlier, has lost her voice, and she has tried and prayed to get it back, but did not get her voice back. So Larry Becker, he is a retired Methodist minister. He's going to be filling in today, and he is a top-notch resident. So we are very grateful to have him here today. And then next to him is Dr. Kathy Thompson. She is one of our OU physicians here on campus, and she is going to start us off and talk about our physical heart health. So Dr. Thompson, take it away.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm holding it right. Soft? Is it better? This way? Okay. Really, really close. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here today, and I hope that all of you will take away something that you've learned that's new that you didn't know when you were coming in. So I was asked to speak a little bit about heart health, and for the next few minutes, that's what we're about to do. So I wanted to start out with a case study to just point out the importance of heart health. Most folks, you know, you hear about blood pressure, you hear about high cholesterol and diabetes and things that can affect your heart health. A lot of folks don't realize that there is an event or a health issue called broken heart syndrome. It really is a medically defined thing. When I was in my residency in Columbus, Georgia, I had a patient that was in her 40s. She was new to our clinic. She had heart failure. She had kidney failure. She did not have diabetes. She did not have hypertension. She did not have high cholesterol. And she looked very healthy, except that her heart and her kidneys were failing. And she had what was called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. It's called that Japanese name because that's Japanese for octopus pot. And when they looked at images of the heart, this is a normal chamber of the heart, and the left ventricle is what's responsible for pushing the blood to the rest of the body. With somebody with broken heart syndrome, that left ventricle is not working properly. And on imaging, it appears like a pot with an octopus sticking out, and that's why it's called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. Literally, your heart muscle can be damaged from severe prolonged stress. And when I asked her about it, this is something that can be seen on an EKG as well. So it's you know, not like, oh, this is what we're just calling it. It's a specific EKG finding. It's usually temporary. That's the good news. This young woman had taken care of both of her parents for a number of years, and they were in poor health. She was not married. She literally had, you know, grown away from her friends and her friendships that she had because she was a full-time caregiver. And over the course of the previous few years before I met her, her mother passed away, and then her father passed away. So basically, I was meeting her for her new patient appointment after all of that had transpired. So she had this cardiomyopathy, which also led to kidney failure because all of your vital organs are just that, they're vital. And if one starts going, it may start a cascade of other vital organs being affected. Because she was able to get counseling afterwards as well and listen to her doctor as far as medications and exercise and things like that, she was slowly getting better. So in the 3 years that I was there for residency in family medicine, her heart was getting stronger. And that's the amazing thing about hearts, is that our bodies often can remodel and get a little bit better, and there's hope with that as well. So, and this is not, the purpose of this was not to put a guilt trip on everybody about don't burden your family and all that kind of stuff, because it's not a burden. Your kids will tell you, as I told my mom, it's a blessing to take care of you. It is not a burden. But you know, many of us feel like, well, we don't want to be any trouble. They've got their own lives. So getting into heart health, be involved in your own health care. See your doctor regularly. I know some folks feel like, I don't want to go to the doctor. They're going to find something. They always find something. They always add a new medicine. If you have a cardiologist, see them regularly as well. If you're one of those folks that everything's stable, your cardiologist wants to see you back just once a year, that's fantastic. But be sure to see them once a year, if for anything, just to check in with them and maintain your active patient status with them. Take your medications as instructed. So most of the time people do that, but sometimes people will get forgetful, and certain medications, particularly cardiovascular medicines, if you're forgetting to take them, you're going to wind up in the hospital. It's a little different with certain other medicines like diabetes. It may not show up right away if you're forgetting to take it. But cardiac meds, usually you'll get increased swelling, especially if somebody has heart failure. And then make healthy decisions. Making healthy decisions is something you all have done your whole life, or you wouldn't be sitting here at this meal today. And even coming to Epworth is something that's a healthy decision. All of my patients that I have both community outside of Epworth and Epworth residents. I have never had anybody tell me, oh, I regret moving here. You know, most of the time I hear, I regret not moving here sooner because of the difference. But change is scary. It's scary for everybody. So what is the purpose of the heart? To pump oxygenated blood from the lungs out to the rest of the body. And then it gets back the deoxygenated blood that it flows through the heart into the lungs. It helps maintain the blood pressure and the heart rate, so that there are important signals in the body so that the heart can function properly. I tried to do just a drawing and not like a picture because I figured it was lunchtime. And some people may not be as excited about those kind of things as I am. And then how long will my heart last? The average heart is about 100,000 beats per day, 35 million beats per year. The average life is greater than 2.5 billion beats. And having raised boys, I know the thought process. So think of this is not an excuse to avoid exercise. You know, oh, if I exercise, my heart will beat faster and I'll use up my beats. So it's not like that. But exercise makes a difference, and that's the average there.
Kind of disappointed I didn't think of that.
So keeping your heart healthy. It begins with exercise, including strength conditioning, losing excess weight if necessary, because if you are significantly obese, that is a strain on all of your vital organs. If you're a little bit overweight, not obese, that's actually good for folks over 65, so have dessert. Eating a healthy diet, and this is good for everybody, and it's good for your heart, it's good for your eyes, your kidneys, everything. Low fat, high fiber, plenty of fruits and vegetables. And then see your doctor regularly, even if you don't want to. For exercise, across the board, all of the physician associations recommend at least 150 minutes of exercise, moderate intensity, during a week's period. So when I explain this to my patients, I usually say that doesn't mean if you haven't been exercising that you need to start this week with 150 minutes, because that's too much. You start slow and you build up gradually, and listen to your body above everything. So moderate intensity, basically what that means is that if you're walking, that you can walk at a comfortable speed where you could still talk to somebody in complete sentences. So if you're exercising and you get to where you have trouble breathing and talking, you gotta back off. That's too much for anybody. So, and then in the 150 minutes, incorporating some weights. And it doesn't mean that you have to go there and lift the 50-pound barbells. It could be simple 2-pound weights that you hold, or the wrist weights while you're walking, but some kind of weight. I've had different populations that I've counseled, and I've even said, if you want to work out in your apartment and you have canned food, take a couple of cans that you can hold on to and exercise with them. Doesn't have to be formal weight equipment. Epworth here, by the way, offers a well-equipped fitness center that the employees can use. I don't see any employees in it ever, but I do go by there. And then they have many, many classes. There's a whole month that's put out at a time of all the different classes that are offered, including yoga. There's water aerobics, and there's even the senior marathon. So for folks that want to exercise, want to keep their bodies working as well as minds healthy, there's plenty of opportunity. Even outdoors here, I did not know till a few months ago that Epworth has its own lake. And I thought, where the heck is the lake? I park in the back, I come in the back door, I drive by on 150th in Pennsylvania. Well, the lake is out at that corner. And there's even a nice walking trail around it. There's walking trails on the property. And when the weather gets like this, unless you really love this ice and cold weather that we're gonna have, there is plenty of wide hallways for walking. And I am passing a lot of folks walking with even walkers in the hallway, and they're getting their exercise indoors in a climate controlled area, which is safer to walk in if the weather is not good. So plenty of opportunities. And then as far as a heart healthy diet, the ones that are typically recommended, the DASH diet has been around for more than 20 years. It was developed in order to reduce the hypertension that was being diagnosed among people. It's basically a low sodium diet and low fat, lots of fruits and vegetables, which is what all of these diets have in common. The Mediterranean diet and the Blue Zones diet are very similar. The Mediterranean diet, most of the fats are recommended to come from olive oil, and again, lots of fruits and fresh vegetables and fresh things. And I usually tell people, if you can't buy fresh vegetables, get frozen vegetables. It's the next best thing, because the canning process kills a lot of the nutrients. In fact, you know, a lot of this, the Mediterranean, the Blue Zones, even the DASH diet, I look at it as the more processed the food is, and the more people that have had their hands in the processing of it, it's probably not good for you. If it's in a bag, you know, like potato chips, you want to eat the way you want to feel. So if you want to feel junky, then it's junk food, you know. Epworth has available registered dietitians and nutritional counseling. And so this is for folks, whether you're in assisted living, independent living, whomever you are, if you want any of those appointments for counseling. And then they have plenty of menu options. I've had a lot of my skilled nursing patients who are not from Epworth, they're from the community, but they tell me how delicious the food is. And I've had one whose spouse had spent the night because they lived so far away, and he wanted to eat dinner here too. So anyway, lots of options, and as you can see today from what was prepared, good food that's good for you, and it's good for brain health.
Dr. Thompson, I'm going to jump in right here with our dining services manager, Katie Baker. So she's going to talk just a few seconds. She's got some slides on there. I'll take that. I'll take this. She's going to talk to us about what dining looks like. Just very, very brief. Katie, I'm going to have you come stand over here. And you can tell us about our dining offerings here at Epworth.
So one of the great things about Epworth is that we have a dietary department that is very excited to be involved with everything and everyone here. So we have a lot of changes coming that really tie into being heart healthy, being active, and being conscious of the food that we're putting in our body, because food is medicine. We are coming up with a lot of gluten-free options. So that'll be in both our bistro and our cafe. And when we talk about gluten-free, we're not talking just bread or just a plain chicken breast with grains. We're talking hearty meals that we can enjoy, and even people who love gluten will still like these options. So think of it as reverse cheat day. So your very healthy day for when you want to get 2 ice cream sundaes. And then we'll also be including a lot of heart healthy options. Again, not just a chicken breast and not just salmon. So all of the new menus that we come out with, they will have identifiers as well. So it'll be a little heart, or it'll say GF on it, so that everybody knows what we are offering on the menu and how that plays into what you're looking for. So it'll be a little bit more interactive. And then we also do rotating healthy specials. Those will be coming in the next month, and you'll see signage for that. Typically we do rotating specials, and we like to stick with comfort food, but we're going to be adding in a lot more healthy options, and you will know what those are because they'll say healthy all over it. It'll be bright and colorful with fruits and vegetables. And then our salad bar is getting revamped, and with that is going to be a focus on fresh seasonal fruits and vegetables. So I know that we all love the salad bar with our shredded carrots and our shredded cheese, and those are all staples, but we're going to be highlighting a lot more options, like when sweet potatoes are in season or when kiwis are in season. And with that's going to come signage that'll kind of tell you how to build your own salad, to give you another idea. So it'll say like strawberry plus feta plus sunflower seeds equals spring salad. And then, you know, in the autumn we want to highlight apples, we want to highlight pecans, we want to do a warm vinaigrette. So all of the things where we're using our fruits and vegetables to their full potential, because we want them to be as fresh as possible when we're consuming them. So you'll still have some of your canned fruits, like your mandarin oranges, because an oriental salad is just not the same with what are they called, the little cuties, the little cuties. Yes, my kids eat those all the time. And then on our menu will be almost like a choose your own adventure. So we'll be doing a lot of staff training, and if you see it on the menu, it means that it's always available for you. So this is a good time to get creative. Just because you see a burger and then you see a Cobb salad doesn't mean that you can't do a burger salad. So it'll just be educating everybody on how we can play with the items that are already here to have more selection. So when we're all in our 40 days of giving up something, and maybe it's gluten, maybe it's buns, then we can have that bacon burger without the bun on a bed of lettuce. So just a lot more creative options, doing the things that we already do well and presenting them in a different way. And we're very excited about these options. And then also we're gonna be having, as we roll out our new computer software, we're gonna have the option to list calories. And I know that's very important for a lot of people. So you're gonna be able to see, you know, your calories, your fats, your saturated fats, how many carbs you're getting, fiber, if you're getting enough fiber, which from what I hear, none of us are getting enough fiber, correct? So, but we're looking forward to having all this information available for everybody so that you can make these choices yourself, and that we can be there to kind of guide you for when you are straying from the chicken fried steak.
Can you tell us what we had for lunch?
Oh, for lunch today we had seared salmon. We had, I want to say, steamed Mediterranean rice, and then we did bell peppers diced, hummus and pita chips, and then we did a homemade balsamic vinaigrette. So I hope everybody liked it, and it came with feta cheese too, because you have to have cheese on a salad.
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Katie, thank you. You make it sound like we have lots of choices,
Yes.
and we don't have any excuse not to make good choices, is what you're saying.
We do offer a lot of bad choices too.
We offer some bad choices too. Okay, good, good. Dr. Thompson, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Okay, well, okay, there. And then as far as following up with your doctor, we have in-house here at Epworth, the OU Senior Health Clinic that just opened in March of last year. And we have Dr. Ballaghan, myself, and Rachel, our physician assistant. We take care of folks if they choose us as their primary care provider, from the assisted living, long-term care, skilled nursing, and we see patients also in our outpatient clinic. We're not limited just to Epworth residents, so our senior health clinic here at Epworth is open to community non-Epworth residents as well, but we're here for everybody. So that's something to be aware of too, because it's wonderful for folks that live here. They don't have to go far, or they don't have to go downtown. And we have the OU connections with other specialists in the area, so it's more continuity for care there. And one of the things that tickled me the best here with cardiology, and this being a heart lecture, we have one of our OU cardiologists, Dr. Babber, who comes to our clinic here at Epworth twice a month. So our patients that choose him as the cardiologist no longer need to go downtown to see a cardiologist. And he will see patients here that are non-Epworth residents as well, so that's something to be aware of. And I've told my patients, I'm not trying to steal you away from your cardiologist or your primary care. If you've got somebody that you like and you want to stick with them, that's fine. But just to make you aware, we've got cardiology and primary care here at Epworth. And we are looking at trying to get other specialties, but that's always slow in coming. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
She was talking about a wide variety of exercise classes. I'm going to see if I can cover most of them. Yoga, Tai Chi, water aerobics, senior HIIT, and HIIT is high intensity interval training. We have some chair exercises for those who may be not as strong in their legs, but will get stronger. So what I want to say to you is there is an exercise class for just about everyone. So whether you're seated in a chair or you're out there for 30 minutes on the incline of the treadmill for a long time, there is something for everyone in our fitness center, and we want you to be able to take those classes safely. So we have a wellness coordinator. Her name is Mary, and she's there, and she's going to guide you through, show you how our equipment works. Our equipment is actually pretty high tech. You wouldn't think that, but it's very high tech. It's actually used in some NFL training centers. It is compressed air. So when you lift weights, a lot of times you go in and there's a little pin that you pull a pin and you put a pin back in so you can determine how much weight you want to lift if you're using a machine. Ours use compressed air, so you just push a button. So you don't have to worry about pinching your fingers. Or sometimes my little pinchers don't work. My little fingers have a little bit of arthritis in them, and I can't pull that pin quite so well or put it in. So these machines are very high tech, and they are very simple to use, but they're very safe as well. A few other things that we were talking about, all the space to walk. This is our walker right here, Rev Larry Becker. He is leading our charge here at Epworth Villa with our senior marathon, but before we get to that, we're gonna switch over. I put Pastor Laura's picture up here, even though she can't really talk. But if she's got something, I'm going to be her voice today. She's going to whisper to me, and I'm going to add that in. But I'm going to let Larry Becker get started and talk about our spiritual heart and the connection between our spiritual well-being and our overall health. And he's got a few words to share with us.
I am subbing for Laura, and she can do a much better job of this than I, but I'm happy to at least be able to share a little bit with you. I am a happy resident of Epworth Villa. Have been so soon to be 8 years. I also am totally committed to physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Totally committed. This is something that I have come to believe is very, very important for me, and I believe that there's no place that's any better to achieve that goal than right here at Epworth Villa. I say that sincerely because I, before coming here, was a pastoral caregiver, and I visited many of these institutions like Epworth Villa, and I came to believe with all of my heart that this was a good place to be for total well-being. I do use the equipment in the fitness center on a daily basis. There are a number of well-equipped machines in there. I use at least 5 of them every day that help strengthen my legs and my back and my shoulders. I've found that by doing so, I can walk the stairs, not have to use the elevators practically every day. Not only do I use the wellness center for physical well-being, but I'm happy that I also use the eating venues every day and enjoy the tasty food that's provided and the many choices. But there's another dimension to total well-being, and that's our spiritual life. I believe that that's the foundation, really, and for me, for all the rest. It helps me to be able to keep the priorities in place, and there are many, many opportunities here for our spiritual development and growth. For one, we have the chapel, Braille Chapel, beautiful place to worship, and we have weekly opportunities for worship, for prayer, for study. We have a full-time chaplain, Laura Glover, and associate chaplain, Dwight Magnus, who are always available not only for expert preaching and teaching, but also for counseling and pastoral care. So it's a wonderful place to be, and I thank God that I found this place and that it has been such a blessing to me. By developing and keeping our spiritual life strong, it helps in terms of reducing stress that Dr. Thompson talked about. When we reduce stress, we tend to be in better health. It also provides us opportunity to be emotionally balanced and to have purpose in our life.
Yes.
I thank God for those opportunities that are provided for us, and a person can be involved in as many of these activities, studies. In fact, coming up on Lent, we are going to have a study on prayer using a workbook by Maxie Dunham on prayer. So there are many opportunities like this, as well as groups, stitching group, what's some of the other? Scrabble, yes, chicken foot. All of these opportunities for being in a part of a group. And our spiritual life is best enabled and strengthened in a community.
Yes.
And this is the place for that, because there's always people here that you can get to know, visit with, be in groups with, who help support us and pray for us whenever we're in need. Also, I would like to share briefly with you a little bit about my experience and how this has benefited me. When my wife and I came here almost 8 years ago, she was already in the throes of Alzheimer's. I knew that we were going to need at some point more care than I would be able to provide for her. She did stay with me in independent living for close to 3 years, but the time came when I knew that I could not continue to provide the care she needed. So she moved to our memory care unit in assisted living. There she received the kind of care that I could not provide. Although I did go to visit her as regularly as I could, and toward the last I was going over 4 or 5 times a day to check on her and make sure she was okay. I will have to say that this was a stressful time in my life, very stressful. But being here, I could go in every morning to the chapel, take my Bible and devotional material, and spend time in silence and wait before God, unload my burdens on the Lord. And I found out very soon that what I needed to do was just take a day at a time. That's all we have, one day at a time. And ask the Lord to help me that day. That relieved a lot of the stress in my life. And I was able to be with my wife to the very end. She passed away a little over 2 years ago now. At that point of time in my life, as I lost her, I felt sort of lost, sort of without purpose, because I'd spent so much of my time caring for her. But there was a resident here who recognized in my countenance that I was struggling. And that person offered to have lunch with me and listen. Just listen to me, basically. They had very little advice to offer except to say that they were going to be supporting me, encouraging me with prayer. That helped tremendously at that particular time. And it wasn't long after that till I began to realize there were many opportunities for service right here in Epworth. So I volunteered to be a hospice visitor, took the necessary steps to do that, and have been doing that ever since. During the part when my wife was in memory care, I found out there was a group that meets right here for Alzheimer's caregivers. And so I became a part of that group. Later on, the facilitator for that group became ill and then passed away. And she asked me, she said, be sure that that group doesn't stop. And so I promised her that I would, and I've become the facilitator for that group. That's just a couple of the opportunities that I've found, and there are many more. I have probably around 6 or 8 volunteer jobs that I do now. Some of them are just a few minutes a day. Some of them are once a week. But there are many opportunities, and that's given me new purpose. And that, again, is part of our spiritual growth and development. I didn't tell you, but I passed my 90th birthday last month. My family and the residents here gave me a huge party in the coffee lounge, and many hugs, many congratulations, and over 70 birthday cards. Don't you think that made the endorphins go up? Yes, that was a big blessing to me, and I don't know of any place that I'd rather be than right here for not only our physical and mental growth, but our spiritual development as well.